just like that, they buy it. They eat it up. You pander to them, you thank them. I mean, really, people, I thought you were a little bit smarter than that. I mean, it's just so easy to say the name of the city. You cheer.
Hey, Stephanie,
you cheer. I mean, just come on.
Welcome to the A Show.
Yo, welcome back to the A Show with the Kings of Pro Wrestling Podcast. I'm Justin. I'm here with Meelz. I'm dragging today, Oos. I'm a little draggy today.
Listen, it's episode 82. Yeah. I mean, at this point, it's the marathon. Shout out to Nipsey Hussle. The marathon continues, and it's a constant, continued, pace to keep this up weekly and things like that, but we love to do it. There wouldn't be any reason why you literally drive for almost 2 hours to come and do this podcast.
Oh my God. I was in Virginia all weekend.
Yes, of course. How was that? Wait a minute. How was it going home? The prodigal son.
Yeah,
from Virginia.
It was great.
It's Pharrell, then Timbaland, then you. And then Pusha T.
Hey, I like that. I like that lineup. That's good. Hype me up like that. It was great. My mom graduated from college.
Oh, fantastic. Oh my God. Congratulations to Mama 5.
Yeah. She had a great Mother's Day weekend. She finessed me out of lunch on Sunday. I don't think I've even talked about this yet. She finessed me. We went to this steakhouse, right? Mm-hmm. And she was like, I want to go to this steakhouse. I've never been. I was like, all right, cool. We can go to the steakhouse. No problem. And so we went to the steakhouse, and it turned out it was a buffet. And I was like, oh, okay, great. So it's probably going to be like, it'll be sizable,
Right.
We eat all that stuff. We had fried shrimp. We had oysters. We had all of this shit, all of it at our disposal. It was like $96. And I was like, you know what? I think she knew how much this was going to be. I think she knew she was going to finesse me today.
Listen, she wasn't intent on paying. You thought she was going to pay on Mother?
No. I didn't want my mom to pay, but I knew that she was trying to finesse the bigger. As soon as I heard steakhouse, I was like,
that's pricey. That's a bill.
And then I heard buffet. I was like, oh, she's about to hit me over the head, huh? And you know what? Whatever. She deserved it. She graduated from college. She birthed 3 wonderful kids, and she created a great legacy. So anything for mom.
Listen, that's a great story, because I didn't have any accomplishments from people over the week, because once again, I don't know, maybe no one's doing anything popping right now, but shout out to your mom. We'll give it to her. That's a great story.
So I got back yesterday.
Okay.
And today I had to drive all the way from, I live very much in the suburbs. I live in the suburbs, okay? I do not live in the city. I had to drive all the way to the valley today. So that's an hour and 30-minute drive. And then I rushed home. We went overtime and we had a company thing today. Had to rush home and get here. So, I'm fresh off the plane, right to the valley, right back to the A Show. And we're here. We're active, man.
We're active. First of all, I have one little conversation piece that I'd like to talk about before we really get things started. Okay. And, we do have a guest in the show that we'll, at some point we'll be popping in. But I want to talk about something before it gets to the hands of RSPN.
Okay.
And that is the Knicks. My New York Knickerbockers, because I know when we get to RSPN, it will not be the same conversation that I'm about to have now. I know Mark's been laughing at it all day, showing all his teeth, by the way, all of them. laughing,
all of his cartoon teeth,
laughing it up, chuckling it up. Jeff, he's cool, but still, the slanders are definitely available on Q at any point. I just want to say I'm not completely sad. I mean, yes, I would love Zion Williamson. Yes, of course. I would love Zion in New York City. I love Zion to change the culture. I would love to feel the same way you guys felt when I guess LeBron showed up.
Hey, I deleted all my slander tweets.
Oh, as you should. But you know what? I'm not mad at it. You know, New Orleans, he's going to be down there playing in all the swamp pits and, you know, eating up all them gumbo and all the other stuff. He's a big boy, so he's going to be even bigger by the time he gets out of there. You know what? And I'm sure he'll come to New York anyway, maybe. I don't know, whatever. But the number 3 pick, I mean, I'm good. I'm good.
That's not bad, right?
It's not bad at all. It's not bad at all. Now, it's not the number 1 pick or the number 2 pick, which are, I guess, ultimately the better of the picks. Like, it starts, you know, the conversation starts being had when you get to number 3, number 4, number 5. And somehow your Lakers somehow snuck their way.
Ain't no sneak.
Into the, you think it was fate?
Yeah, it was fate. Man, what are you talking about?
You didn't think LeBron made the call, freeze the envelope, figure it out?
Nah, it's supposed to happen. It's because of the year that we had before he got there. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't buy that. I don't buy that. LeBron made the call. Everyone made the call. New Orleans made the call, because how all of this has happened with all the Lakers and New Orleans sort of mixed up and mashed up, and you know, everyone, especially the 3 losing team. I'm glad we lost the most, because if we lost any more than that, I mean, if we won any more than that, we wouldn't have got any. Everyone would have been laughing at us even more. But listen, I'm just here to say New York City is fine. KD will be here. I'm ready for KD. I'm ready to throw up my Durant shirt, and I'm ready to buy a Durant jersey, because
you really think that's gonna happen?
Yes. Oh my God, yes. Yes.
Yeah, I hope y'all ready for his attitude.
I'm ready for everything, man. I'm ready for him. I'm ready for Kyrie. I'm ready to win, to quite honestly, because it's been a long couple years.
Kyrie's so weird. He's gonna say something or do something very weird during his tenure there.
So I always felt like when the Knicks had Porzingis, whose name will never be spoken again, and you know, may or may not have got what was coming to him over the weekend, but
wow.
I always felt weird about buying his jersey, because I was like the million black eyes of the league, and I'm here struggling if I should buy a Porzingis jersey or not. Like, no. I'm gonna wait on it. I said I'm gonna wait on it.
I mean, I'm gonna wait and see on the Lakers. I think we are a mess right now. We need help. Bron don't just need help. The whole damn team needs help. we need real help right here with the Lake. But it's a Hollywood drama, man. It has its ups and downs, and in the end, the good guy wins. You feel me?
I mean, we can only hope that New York and LA recover at some point. But I just wanted to get that conversation out here before the slander truck comes in, and Mark is the slander conductor, because he's been waiting, and I know he's been waiting. He's more, you know. He's not upset that his Heat got, 13, 14, 15, whatever the hell pick they got.
Oh, they're going to suck for a long time.
I mean, they're like a forever fringe on 8th seed team for at least the next couple of years.
Decade.
So forever fringe. Like, come on. Guys I don't even know about. I mean, you know, whatever. And their little Dwayne Wade is gone. Oh, well, you know what? You know, it was about time. It was right on time.
I like to call him STD Wade.
So shout out to us getting on all the slander before, you know, we get to make sure you listen to RSPN this Friday.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Mark and Jeff.
Shout out to Mark and Jeff. I mean, we set the table up for you guys. By all means, eat, flourish. But just know, LA and New York City, we will be back. Yeah, it's just only a matter of time. We will be back.
Yeah, motherfucker. Yeah. RSPN. Let's get a No Holds Barred.
Let's get a No Holds Barred. What's the first topic on No Holds Barred?
We got our Sasha Banks watch this week. Very
definitely need like a sound effect or something.
It's boss time.
Like,
I'm the bar.
I made it. Something.
You better never me. I'm the bow.
Her accent is so weird. Sasha Banks watch.
Very short. Sasha Banks watch this week. I
think she went to the beach this week. I think she went to the beach or something.
She was in Los Angeles last week, hanging out with a close friend of hers, and her hair is black.
It's big, bliggity black. All right, so I've heard something about why people dye their hair black.
What was that?
It's usually because they're going through something. They're going through some sort of turmoil. They're going through some sort of, issues in their life, and they just dye their hair black. That's what I've learned. I learned that on TRL like 15 years ago.
Well, she was, looking at rocks and hitting things with, hitting TVs and stuff. She went to there's this place in LA where you can go and you can pay to go destroy things. And she was there, and she was like, I'm in control of my destiny. I'm in control of my fate. She's speaking like a true Gandhi adjacent person right now.
Right.
I have to think there is some type of awakening she's had away from wrestling. And this is to me seeming more CM Punkish as the days go on, except that she is more social media savvy than he was.
So let's see. I've gone on to Google. Yes. And determined, and I've Googled, what does your hair color mean about you? Oh, because boy. we do. Listen, both journalists here on this podcast. Uh-huh. It says, I think I'll skip the first sentence. For some reason, first sentence is just as men prefer blondes, women are known to prefer men with black hair. Let's see. Deep, introspective, meditative. This personality type is serious and melancholic. Black hair people are interested in religion, poetry, spirituality. They're serious and self-centered, but also tend to have self-doubt. Let's see what else they say about black hair. They don't say much else, but it kind of seems to hit around the nose. I don't know. She's going through something. And it's obviously, she dyed her hair black. So that is Sasha Banks' watch for the week.
Yeah, very short week. Hopefully after Money in the Bank, which we thought that she would be at, she will not be there. Seems to be longer than 30 days at this point. So are you getting worried, Meelz, or how are you feeling about it right now?
You know what? I feel like she'll come back when the payday is right. I feel like we may be looking at a long time before. Listen, even if she wanted to release, WWE is not going to release her because they're like, okay, you're going to pay back this time you've been sitting at home and we've been paying you. Yeah. So it's going to be a while before she even gets released, unless she just wants to hang out around LA and do real cool things, start taking bookings, start readings, start taking acting classes. It's really kind of slow for Sasha Banks. So we'll see what happens as the weeks go on.
Yeah. Next up on the agenda. I mean, can we just say right now that when the bag calls,
everyone picks up, baby.
Yes, there is someone who will answer. Okay. It was just announced at the by WWE that their Super Showdown event on June 7th in Saudi Arabia will be one of the main events. Will be Goldberg versus The Undertaker. There will also be another 50-man battle royal, and there will be another match between Triple H and Randy Orton happening at that event. Boy, let me tell you, a couple of months ago, I had a lot of mean things to say about The Undertaker. Okay.
Yes.
Very, very poignant things that I had to say about this guy. And it seems to be that he has come home. The bag has brought him back. Like a fucking...
The bag always brings him back, obviously.
Like a carrot on a stick. The bag has brought this motherfucking Instagram honey back. Mm-hmm. And he's now facing Goldberg. Listen, never thought Goldberg would be one to take the bag. But are you surprised? Were you surprised? Or you called this, actually, I think.
I think I did call this. So I called initially a triple threat match, but it did feature two of these guys. And if it was a triple threat match with Brock Lesnar, it looks like Brock Lesnar's bag is going somewhere else this week. Maybe I don't know what Brock Lesnar is doing. It doesn't seem like he's going to be at this event, or else he would be heavily promoted for this event. But in lieu of that, we have Goldberg versus The Undertaker. And to me, this is just the, I think Rob said it the best. Like, Saudi Arabia just throws a bag at WWE to like book 2K matches.
Yeah.
Like, Goldberg versus The Undertaker is something that we've wanted to see for at least 2 decades. And it is about 2 decades too late from what we would probably actually want to see this. But listen, it's a main event that's actually an attraction. First time ever. 2 guys who very storied histories within professional wrestling, at least in this modern era, in this 21st century. How do we think this? I mean, I know how you think this match is going to go.
No, you know how this match is going to go. I do not want to see The Undertaker perpendicular from heaven taking the fucking jackhammer. I think Bill's going to drop him.
Oh, he's not holding him up for much long. No, it's not going to be one of those beautiful things where Undertaker's like really up there for a couple minutes. Nah. But who goes over in this thing? It's Goldberg versus The Undertaker. Goldberg with one of the most storied streaks in professional wrestling. The Undertaker, who is WWE's conscience through and throughout. If this was 15 years ago, I'd say 100%. I'd probably say Undertaker. Definitely say Undertaker.
Goldberg's going over. It's got to be Goldberg.
But why? I don't know.
Because Goldberg's I think Goldberg's cooler than The Undertaker right now. That
is true. But then, I mean, Goldberg's not out here, trying to finesse AEW money out of Starrcast.
Goldberg ain't saying, low pump, you're next.
Goldberg, oh God. I mean, if you're going to bring Goldberg back,
he ain't losing. Undertaker will be back until the end of time, until both of his hips fall off. Undertaker will be back until he's in the Futurama where they're ahead in a little jar.
And even then, you still have to pop an entrance. Interesting.
Yep. He's going to come out. They're going to carry his ass out like Bray Wyatt with the lantern.
Undertaker, 54 years old. Goldberg, let's see, Bill Goldberg, also in his 50s, I believe.
Yes.
52 years old. This is by far the oldest match on the card. We also get the Triple H yearly invitational of his
This one seems, even though it has history, this one seems like the most random return match for him.
Do you think
are they gonna start setting this up?
That's what I wanted to ask. Are they gonna, because they did it for the last Saudi Arabia show where they started to set up the matches at least a month and a half in advance. They had big money on this thing. Triple H versus Randy Orton doesn't even seem first of all, Triple H, I don't know how he's still doing this when he's just recovering from pectoral thing, but he's having 2 matches within the span of 6 weeks. So much props to him, but actually more like 8 weeks. Yeah. But this Triple H versus Randy Orton match, I don't think these two have ever had a good match against one another. Ever. Not that Mania match.
Yes, they have. The No Mercy match was really good.
Oh, yeah, because they threw all the bells and whistles in it. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
I need that. I need that last man standing match, yes.
What is the potential setup of this match? I mean, to me, more and more, they're not trying. They don't even talk about this show on the TV at all. I think more and more these will become exhibition things that they're live events that will air. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's going to be. Remember last year there were stakes behind all of these shows.
Oh yeah.
I think this year they're going to completely play these straight faced and not have any stakes or anything to do with it.
I think maybe at least until. So here's the thing. This is a real live actual pay-per-view event. This is on WWE's calendar. There's not another pay-per-view event in the month of June, I think. Let me double check that.
I think there is.
Let's see. But to me, this has been always so. They have Super Showdown. Wow, Backlash is still there, huh? Backlash.
Yeah.
All right, I don't know when Backlash is, but there was a big, thing. But Super Showdown, it seemed to be like a big card. I mean, it's coming out of Money in the Bank. It's actually 2 weeks after Money in the Bank, 2 weeks, 3 weeks after Money in the Bank. It seems like it's actually going to be something that they're building towards. I don't know if this will be like one of those. I mean, this match definitely seems like an exhibition show.
Stomping Grounds is the 23rd.
Ooh. Okay.
So I'm guessing Stomping Grounds.
They don't have
if I had to guess right now, if I was to guess right now, what the hell Stomping Grounds would be, I think it's more of a twist on the actual wild card thing, or maybe the old people from the other show go back to the other show for one night or something like that.
Listen,
they're old Stomping Grounds.
WWE doesn't need to confuse me anymore with the way they've been doing things this week.
Listen, they need to throw Survivor Series out. Like, they need to just throw that one
I mean, listen, we'll get to it when we get to it, but there's definitely a lot of confusion about who's on what show and what matters anymore. But yes, this Super Showdown card, I mean, there's going to be a 50-man battle royal on it, which is always interesting. There's going to be, Triple H versus Randy Orton on it, to be determined, I think.
I'm sure Seth and Brock will get a rematch. I've always thought that they were gonna go back to that.
I feel like Seth and AJ can't do it. They can't. AJ can't have a 1 month feud.
Oh well, they would do a triple threat then. If Brock didn't get his, he feels as though it needs a rematch. Maybe it'll be a triple threat so that Brock doesn't have to take the pen.
Right.
I think
something along those lines. I mean, a triple threat match between Seth Rollins, AJ Styles, and Brock Lesnar would be, I mean, that would be incredible. But yeah, we'll see. But as we get closer to June 7th, it's only a couple weeks away, about 3 weeks away, maybe 4 weeks away, 3 weeks. And we'll see. A Super Showdown.
Next up on No Holds Barred, last week we had a lot of things to say about this individual, and of course after our show came out, there was a lot of conversation about it even throughout the weekend, and a lot of people were very vocal, rightfully so, and very upset at the lack of communication between the WWE and this situation. But Lars Sullivan, that backlash kind of went nuclear over the weekend, and what I saw, there were a lot of reports like from Wrestling Observer, people saying that WWE had pretty much gotten an apology from him personally, so they didn't really feel as though it was anything of not a big deal. And it came out, I think yesterday, that they had fined Lars Sullivan $100,000, and they were having him take sensitivity classes.
How do you feel about that? I feel like it's at least a step in the right direction in terms of just like acknowledging this, because I feel like for a long time, no one was really acknowledging it. No one was, they acknowledged that, yes, we did some bad things, but there was no sense of reprimanding or anything like that for someone who hurt a lot of people and someone who didn't seem to be taking it as seriously as we thought he would. I had a tweet sometime last week. I'm just like, yo, listen, WWE has got to do something about this. I don't know if I never expected them to fire him.
I didn't either.
I feel like if Backlash reached a certain level, they probably would have been forced to fire him, especially if it got picked up by a lot of big name publications and things like that. But I think
Sports Illustrated did pick it up. So I think
it seemed like to be the only sort of the most major publication in order to pick that up. I feel like, because I don't think it got in as much as, because it's comments on a forum. I don't think it's as salacious as most other things, but when it comes to wrestling fans, I think they definitely 100%. I've seen his comments since then, and not a lot of people are behind him, because he said a lot of derogatory stuff towards a lot of people. And in response to being called out about it, he's blocked a lot of people on Twitter, as if to say, like, listen, I'm ignoring you. I don't want this negativity on my timeline, when you're the one who brought the negativity to the table, and you're the one who hasn't aptly apologized, nor, seem to hold any, how do you say,
contempt or remorse?
Any remorse for it. You kind of seem like, I did a bad thing when I was younger. Yeah, I'm sorry for it. And an apology is not saying sorry for the people who felt offended by it.
I think I agree that it's a step in the right direction. I've seen a lot of people are kind of confusing in that they wanted something to happen, and then when something happened, now they're bringing up, well, he's an independent contractor. How can you find him for something that happened before he got signed? And it's like, WWE's in a position where they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of times they are, even with it, whether it be creative, whether it be personnel wise, it's like
whether it be all Saudi know Arabia,
the company. Yeah, it's a shit show. The company is a shit show. We all know this. Like, this is not a surprise that this issue was handled in that type of way. I don't know what people expected to happen. I think that if, and we're going to get to the second half of this in a second, but I think that if he had to take sensitivity training, that's excellent too. But it's like I said, like, there has to be a precedent. There has to be, like, they've never dealt with anything quite like this and so many times at one point. Like the Rhea Ripley shit, yet that happened. There's been more things that have happened that people have been like, what the fuck are they doing? It's like, as a company, like, it's like, how do we maneuver through this? We can't fire everybody,
Right.
So it's like, if this is the precedent where it's like, if we find out that you've done this and we had no prior knowledge, or to the public we had no prior knowledge,
right,
then we're going to do this. Like, this is something you're supposed to be forthright about. You're supposed to give this to us.
Right. It's similar to the Enzo thing, right? It's like something, if he'd been forthright about it, maybe he wouldn't have gotten fired. I mean, I feel like he would have got fired anyway, but maybe if he'd done that. But yeah, they definitely 100% have to set a precedent in terms of things that happen like this.
And that wasn't set before Lars, but I feel like now it is set. And now you get to a point where, and again, like, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. Titus O'Neil has come out today and said, he said, Lars, thank you for coming to me personally. Thank you for coming to me and a number of other people and apologizing and asking how to be better. I think that's a step in the right direction. And the people are like, well, that's bullshit. He's just doing this because he almost lost his job. How are we? And I'm not saying I would probably never fuck with Lars Sullivan ever. And I think the sentiment is shared between you and I. Meelz, like, we're probably never going to fuck with him.
Yeah, nah.
But who are we to say that his apology wasn't sufficient enough to the people that he works with? And these are people that have been vocal in the past about Hogan, about Lars himself. It's a very black locker room. Who are we to say that that's not enough for them?
Mm-hmm.
Who are we to say the context of whatever was talked about? I can't say. I wasn't in that room. If Titus comes out and says it, that's on him. If Mark Henry comes out and says he said sorry, that's on him. If that's good enough for them, that's good enough for me to just drop the shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know this guy at the end of the day. It's good enough for me to just drop the shit.
If he does seem to be taking the right approach and does seem to be trying to figure out, I mean, sincerely apologize, try to move forward from this, try to learn from this, I can definitely take that and be like, okay, bet he's trying to become a better person from this, which is really all I wanted from this. I mean, it just seemed like in the beginning, or at least it seemed like 5 days ago, that he wasn't taking any remorse, or there wasn't actually any taken, or he would not really truly learn his lessons. These are thoughts that can continue to be deep seated, but I think now, I think he's got the point now.
Yeah,
I think especially considering the large amount of hate, and this isn't heat, this is hate. This is a different 4-letter word. Yeah. This is something where people do not like this, especially in America today. And a lot of people, just have to deal with this sort of things about these xenophobic and it's racist and the sexist and all these other stuff, and making fun of different various groups of people. And it's just like, you can't put up with that in WWE today. And for them to fine him $100,000, I think it's great. I think sensitivity training, I think it's great. I think if he earns the respect, or at least, is being able to be tolerated by his peers and by his coworkers and things like that, I think it's all moving forward in the right direction, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's pretty. I mean, we'll see what happens. I still don't think he lasts very long.
Nah, I don't bang with Lars still, so it's like. Yeah. I mean, if he doesn't last, he doesn't last. He'll end up in another company.
You want a quick Leo Rush update? This just broke before we recorded the show. He removed WWE from all of his profiles, and he has booking information there now. So take that for what you will. And from that update, our special guest has arrived in the room. He's here. Very, very good friend of ours, friend of the show. Someone who he goes way back to the old Wrestle Rap chat with us.
I mean, the first era, the inaugural era, the great era of it. One, a host of For All Nerds podcast on the Loudspeakers Network, does a lot of great work for Bleacher Report. I want to bring on Jeff J to the show. What's up, my man?
Fellas, what's going on? Glad to have me on. Thank you for having me on.
Listen, I've seen him at so many wrestling. Like every time, it's SummerSlam when we both bump into each other, or it's like WrestleMania weekend or some shit like that.
Like it's like an annual tradition. If I don't see Meelz, I'm hitting him like, "Yo, you all right? Like, why you not here, yo?"
Right, 100%, man. But yes, we've ran through a couple of topics thus far. We've talked about, we have our weekly Sasha Banks watch, which we did already. Sasha Banks. Just kind of wondering where she's at.
Just wondering where she's at.
Just wondering where she's at in life. I mean, you know what? We wish the best for her. It's all that we do. We talked about Super Showdown a little bit. Yep. Super Showdown, Goldberg versus The Undertaker. That's going to be, something of just something. We talked about how we felt about Lars Sullivan. Is there any feelings you have about the sort of Lars Sullivan situation, especially now that it's been kind of defused a little bit?
Right. So, fuck. So there's so many thoughts, right? Because on one hand, I said a lot of dumb shit when I was younger, and if the internet was super super popping like it was now, I know I would get canceled and dragged and all the other buzzwords. But I feel a way when a dude like Titus O'Neil gets suspended for yoking up Vince McMahon. He did yoke him. I'm not gonna lie. That was a classic yoke, but in playful jest where at worst people had a quick, oh shit, Titus is Titus Vince, right? He got suspended. He damn near was like in limbo in terms of was he really going to be out of here? But you find this dude $100,000, which is a lot of money for where he was from, like in NXT. But I just feel like there has to be more, right? There has to be more, given the climate, given what the extent. I only saw a little bit, but I hear there's a lot more. Like this is years worth of internet 4chan type shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it has to be maybe it's a sensitivity training. Maybe it's something.
Well, they got him for that. I mean, they find him and they sent him sensitivity training.
Okay. All right. So they really handle it on some real corporate tip.
Yeah.
I feel that. So I think for me, he has to make good with the people, with the black people and the people of color and anybody who he's offended. I think his coworkers, he owes it to them for them to be his judge first. And then he's going to have to earn any goodwill back from the fans who ain't feeling him.
Right.
That I think that's what it is. If you're a public figure and you do something wrong, no one owes it to you to forgive you. You don't know these people. I don't owe it. He doesn't owe, I don't owe him forgiveness, right? He has to earn it. But he has to walk that path earnestly. So if he does that, then I'm good with it. But he has to show it. You know what I mean?
I mean, you summed it up better than I could have thought. I think we both agree on that actually. Like, or all three of us agree on the same thing. It's like, I'll probably never fuck with him, but as long as he puts himself through the ringer with his coworkers, I can't hang on to this very long. He's been rightfully punished here.
Right.
Our next topic is Kofi Kingston, WWE champion Kofi Kingston. He's going to Ghana as part of a WWE documentary. Cameras will be following him. He's going to make a huge trip there.
First time in 26 years for him.
First time in 26 years for Kofi going back home. What just as far as just how big this is for the WWE, having a African-born WWE champion, where does this kind of put them, like, as far as like things like this happening for them? Like, this is a huge deal and something that we've never seen before, and it's something that could only happen if you had someone like a Kofi Kingston in that position.
I mean, so Yes, it definitely is the only thing that can happen. And quite honestly, I don't know if it's happened before in WWE kind of going to Africa, going to these neighborhoods and going to these places and kind of, spreading their good wealth. I mean, I don't know if this could, it's being billed. I mean, they had a whole press release about it. It's kind of being billed as this really historic visit because there's never been an African-born champion in WWE, and there's never been someone that, the African-born citizens and people and, everyone can just sort of champion around. Right. And I'm not sure how prevalent WWE is in Africa. I don't know how much they get it. I haven't done that research, I'll be honest with you. But for him to go, and just for them to see that and for him to make his trip first time in 26 years. This is the first time. This is not only historic for, Africa. It's historic for Kofi Kingston himself. It's really him kind of going back and linking back with his culture and looking back with like just his sort of history and where he was born and where his family helped him grow up and, all these things like that. It's kind of amazing. And yeah, this is kind of a once in a lifetime type of deal. I mean, Jeff, what do you think about this?
I think it's amazing, man. First off, for him to be able to go back home on WWE's dime is amazing, right? But in this era with the streaming network and WWE Network, they need all the content they can get. So being able to make everything a documentary it's advantageous for everybody. And I've said it regularly, man. WWE's production team needs to get some award. I don't know what they can get. I don't know if it's a daytime Emmy, a nighttime Emmy, a Vanguard, a BET award. They need something. When I tell you in terms of watching those packages when they hype events, there's no one better.
No.
Boxing, MMA, there's no one better. So having that same team document his trip back to Ghana, where he's going to be with diplomats, because those when you come back home in those countries, if anybody who's listening, if you're from the Caribbean, if you're not from America, like you can go back home, like they're going to literally roll out the red carpet for him, and I think it's going to be ill to document him going back, seeing how it's changed, seeing how he's received, connecting with things that he only remembers as a kid and connecting with his heritage.
And showing how important having a champion that represents this underrepresented, minority really can affect the world.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's incredible. I mean, just speaking of the WWE documentaries and packages, there's this great thing. If you go on the WWE PC YouTube page, man, there's this great series of documentary, and we're currently at 2 out of 3, but there's this great one on Tommaso Ciampa and his recovery and things like that. And man, I want to give just shout out to like Cornell and everybody over at the PC who's doing really amazing things with that channel, because I mean, when we were kids, it was literally Monday Night Raw and then Thursday Night SmackDown, and that was kind of it where you saw the WWE, and maybe you saw Superstars on Saturdays.
Yeah. But
in terms of just humanizing these people and showing that these people are real and they athletes and they do have these sacrifices and they make these, to accomplish their dreams, and then they can kind of change the world with these things. Like you said, WWE is top notch at sort of creating these type of things. And I expect nothing but if this should win an Emmy. I mean, it should win something at least, or be recognized for something, because this is incredible. It starts on Thursday, May 30th, so he'll be out through Sunday, June 2nd. Diplomats, everything, hospitals, towns, everything. I'm excited to see this.
Yeah, I would love. Wouldn't it be dope if like Kevin Owens showed up, right? And Kevin Owens, it was like he dressed as a diplomat, so he kind of looked like Akeem, the African Dream.
Oh my God!
He super kicked Kofi in the African embassy. That'd be dope.
No, he would not make it out of Africa.
Yes, he would. What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh my God, he would not make it out of Africa. But I just feel like, this is another great thing. So shout out to them. Shout out to 26 years that Kofi hasn't been there. And shout out to, I'm looking forward to see this. It literally should be on television, quite frankly. But yeah.
All right, let's not go that far.
All right.
Lastly, on No Holds Barred, AEW finally found a TV network. We've been wondering who was going to be and they're TNT. They're back in the wrestling business. They will be on TNT this fall. It was just announced at the upfronts this week that it was accompanied by Cody, the Young Bucks, Chris Jericho, and Kenny Omega joining to make the announcement. There will be a weekly AEW television show. Not much information given other than what is in the press release and the buzzwords, and of course the comments said by the top guys there. Very interesting to note, in my opinion, here is that they are framing AEW with Chris Jericho as the top guy here.
I mean, so here's the thing, and I've always said this in terms of AEW. I mean, Chris Jericho is the most recognizable talent that they have on the roster by far. Chris Jericho he's been part of various, I mean, you talk about the late 90s and the Cruiserweights, you talk about the Attitude Era, you talk about the mid 2000s, you talk about the Revival. At least every kid over the last 2 decades in professional wrestling has had some memory of Chris Jericho. So he's by far the most recognizable name. So it's now kind of about like, how can they kind of take what Chris Jericho's, sort of stature and his sort of fame and translate it to the rest of the roster. And them being back on TNT, it's
18 years. It's been 18 years.
It's 18. Well, it's been, yeah. I don't know. So here's the thing. It feels too, I don't know TNT sort of schedule and how they do things. It feels very terms of like, okay, let's follow in WCW's footsteps. And they definitely have sort of TNT has a history of professional wrestling. They kind of know how to treat it. They have this kind of eyes on it. It's a very, it's a network, that people actually watch.
Well, I think the key here is something that I didn't mention, and I want to get Jeff's opinion on this, is I think the key to AEW's success is the partnerships that they have with Bleacher Report and streaming. Like, how does that feel to kind of be connected with that, Jeff?
It's great. Like, I've been telling y'all for years, I've been pushing for more WWE stuff throughout the entire company, or just wrestling in general. So I heard the rumblings about this, like, not even internally, like externally, which is hilarious, for months, that if they get a from like wrestling insiders, like not even from my own damn company, right? So from people who in and out, that if AEW was going to get a deal, Turner was the likely option, just because of the history and the need for content and all of that. So they're joining the company at a time where we've been building out a whole bunch of streaming services. We got BR Live. Warner Media's creating their own streaming platform for all of the Adult Swim and all the Warner properties coming soon. And, with the AT&T acquisition, it's real big billionaire talk between Khan and Randall Stevenson and everybody involved, right? So I think this is a unique opportunity where this isn't like before, where Ted Turner bought WCW and built it internally. This is an actual partnership. So they're going to be able to leverage the entire Warner Media portfolio.
Yeah.
Wow, for everything. And that's HBO, that's Turner Sports, that's Bleacher Report, that's the studio. That's Warner Brothers, the studio. So they're going to be able to leverage all of that. They're streaming Double or Nothing on pay-per-view and BR Live. Wow. It's so if you have those streaming services, there's no way that you can miss it. And being able to expand their pay-per-view coverage and their TV coverage, because honestly, TNT and TBS, they have serialized episodic content, but there's always room for something else.
Right. And I think that's why Fox made the decision, why it was so important for Fox to get SmackDown, and they were so adamant about it, is because this is a race for customers' attention spans. And there's only so many, only so much time in the day. So it's like, you want to give them so much content. And I think that, like, when you look at something like basketball ends, and football ends. So it's like in Bleacher Report, like I don't know if you guys have this problem where it's like there's a downtime between sports.
Oh yeah, like so depending on the year, especially for us, depending on the year, and it's not just us, right? It's every sports outlet. You would say after NBA free agency, it's scary hours until NFL trading cap. So in terms of content, like that would only affect us where we would have something else to talk about, but that's like one small sector,
right,
encompassing a whole bigger thing. But in terms of just like a prime, and I'm not even on some Homer shit, right? They can literally go on any day they want. I'm gonna be honest. Like they'll open up the programming to go on any day they want. They don't need to compete head to head. They don't have to have a Monday Night War.
No.
They can go on Tuesday now. They can go on Wednesday now.
I mean, really, the entire middle week is open. SmackDown moves to Friday.
Honestly, they probably are going to do Tuesday or Wednesday because if this is going to be a 52-week-a-year thing, you want to stay away from Monday because of football. Really, Monday, Thursday because of football. And you probably want to stay away from Friday because SmackDown, and that's usually for non-live sporting events. That's usually the quote-unquote death day. The hours. So Tuesday and Wednesday would probably, if in my opinion, would be the best times for them to air, and they can do it. So look, this is a big win for them.
Now, one thing that was interesting to me, which I think is complete and utter bullshit, I don't want to really go into like the rights fee stuff because it's not confirmed, but Dave Meltzer did come out and say that to TNT, 400,000 to 500,000 viewers would be a win. And I think that's complete cap. Like, I don't think that they're paying this much, or what I'm saying, like they wouldn't put this much support behind something that they would want to get a point for on a Tuesday night. Like this is a network. TNT is a network that their shows regularly get over 1.2 million. I think there is a lot of pressure on AEW in this first year to make sure that they have must-watch television and to make sure that they have talent that people want to see. And I think that we're going to be seeing a lot of, big stuff. Usually we're very skeptical here, but I'm like, okay, now we have a direction. I need to see them making some huge, huge plays to make sure that this, like, I don't think 400K is good enough. Like, that's not a win at all.
So I also think with the lure of television and them making this big announcement, it's kind of now like, okay, the doors are open. Let's see, because I expect by probably sometime next year, we're going to have a lot more stars in AEW than we have now. Yeah. The announcement, everyone kind of signs on a whim. It's just like, okay, this new company, let's see where they go. I mean, a lot of people are very independent stars who've just really kind of been they've been in New Japan for a lot of years. Maybe they've been on the Independence United States and haven't been on the national stage. Now I see, now that they're on TNT, I mean, I could see Impact Wrestling decided people trying to, jump ship from there. I could see people, even from WWE who may not be having a great time. And we've been talking the last couple of weeks about just like the morale with professional wrestlers in WWE and just with everything kind of changing and stuff. There is another outlet and there is another solution that people could come towards. 400,000 to 500,000. I don't know TV that well, so I can't even give it a strong educated opinion.
That's low as shit. It's low as hell. I mean,
yes, it's definitely low as hell. But once again, it's like, what is professional wrestling doing outside of, WWE? Like, realistically, has there ever been another show besides maybe WCW that has provided the numbers that I mean, I guess TNA, but like there's such a far cry from that. I think they're really realistically, they're taking it easy. They're saying like, listen, we know you've got a bunch of new guys and we want to sort of cultivate that talent. I would think I would hope over the next couple of years, that number would increase. You would start building these very enticing storylines and things like that. And they're also, they're talking about a lot of less scripted stuff and they're trying to be the alternative to WWE. We're focusing more on athleticism and sports analytics and stuff like that. But I honestly don't know if that draws people into professional wrestling.
So, and mind you, anything that I say, I don't have any insider information into my company or anything like that, et cetera, et cetera. I'm looking at stuff just like you.
Right.
To what you were saying, Justin, It depends on what they do comparatively to what they already have on the network. So, example, The Last OG with Tracy Morgan, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what it averages, but it's been doing like, I'm looking at the numbers. It's been doing like a 0.3. I think a lot of this, because we're in this new era of TV plus 7, where they're including DVR numbers and all of that, I think they do have a leeway. They have a leeway to grow because this is the first time wrestling's been back. I think Turner understands that this is not WWE and they're going to have to build something. So what they're banking on is pretty much a rehash, not a rehash, but like trying to strike lightning the way they did with WCW, where they had their legit own federation with stars, with established stars. They just weren't worldwide. That's the difference now. With social media, with the internet, with everything, these wrestlers are worldwide already. So it's not really that large of a gamble. So I think I wouldn't say that they sit there and say, yo, we can't wait to get a 0.4, 0.5. But I think they have to show improvement to the point where they're defeating. Once you're the highest of your group of the day, like save certain special events, that's the first hurdle. Then you can talk about like if you're doing 1.1, 1.2. I think but I do think they're gonna have to let them. I think they're gonna have to let them kind of bubble, you know?
Yeah. Well, we'll see, and obviously it's coming this fall, and we'll have more news. I'm guessing after Double or Nothing in 2 weeks. With where all this goes, but I'm definitely I'm interested. I think the TNT veneer and sheen behind everything makes it look a lot better than they've looked in the past couple of weeks, and we got a game now, boys. It looks like we have a real series now.
I mean, yeah, I think we definitely do. A lot of people talking on the internet of like, oh, we're now Vince feels, he has this, spread and variety. And then the day after they do something on AEW.
You don't give a fuck.
I really don't think he cares. I think he acknowledges it. Don't get me wrong. There's a difference between like, he definitely acknowledges like, okay, they're doing something different. I mean, now we have to sort of raise a thing, and I don't think it's necessarily AEW sort of. I don't think it's a thing of WCW where the Monday Night Wars where they're like legitimately pushing each other in direct competition, and it's actually a war. But I do think this, just this entire new system and what they're doing and what they're incorporating will help WWE as well. I mean, competition definitely helps. And I think that's what a lot of people have been saying. And I think it will prove to be true. We could be seeing, the best of WWE years in front of us, or even AEW. So who knows?
Yes. And that is No Holds Barred for this week. We are with our special guest, Jeff J. Thank you for joining us, Jeff. Once again, thank you so much. We're going to go into the Money in the Bank predictions for 2019. Money in the Bank, a show that historically is a pretty exciting show. It always ends up being a lot better than it looks on paper. I think this year's show doesn't actually look that bad to me. There are very few WrestleMania rematches here. So, I mean, I guess that's pretty cool. But I mean, there's always the ups and downs here. Of course, we'll start off this year with the kickoff show match for this year. It was just announced this morning. Daniel Bryan and Rowan, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions versus the Usos.
So this match, in terms of this, and Jeff, feel free to jump in whenever you want, but this match to me probably might be the most confusing out of everything on the card. Because they've incorporated this wild card rule over the last couple of weeks. So now Daniel Bryan and Rowan, SmackDown Tag Team Champions. That's fantastic. They face Raw's, the Usos, for the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. So now it comes to the point where you look at this sort of situation and be like, okay, if the Usos win, do they go back to SmackDown? Or does the SmackDown Tag Team titles come to Raw? Or anything like that? And I think, we still have these sort of, I think over the last couple weeks, they've kind of cooled down. I mean, I don't even know if they've cooled down, but it just seems to be like now it's kind of a little bit over normalcy with this wild card rule. It's only been 2 weeks, but now I kind of just like, all right, whatever. These guys are going to be on Raw and SmackDown every week. But this one seems kind of confusing. I'm still anticipating it though, and I expect it to be really one of the matches that kind of steal the show on the card.
Are the titles on the line? Did they say it's on the line?
Yes.
Oh yes, they're big on the line
because I'm guessing they technically beat them for the titles.
Yes, and they've been in the program over SmackDown this week. The Usos came to save save Roman Reigns and The Miz from sudden destruction, and now it's been booked this tag team title match. I don't know who booked it because they're supposed to be the evil guys in control, but they booked this nonetheless. And again, it's confusing. The Usos are currently in a feud with the Revival, yet they're challenging for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. The wild card rule still hasn't been completely figured out, but I want to ask you guys. A lot of people are asking, like, listen, is this a demotion for Daniel Bryan? And especially coming from last pay-per-view, being in the WWE Championship match to now being in the kickoff show, is this a demotion?
I don't think it is at all. Like we've seen champions. Didn't Roman go on that IC title run after being the world champion?
Oh yeah.
Am I dumbing out on that? Like
no, you're right.
People go back to mid cards and they go back to elevate it and to elevate the title. I think Daniel Bryan, first of all, Daniel Bryan doesn't need a title. Secondly, any title that he holds, he's going to bring some type of gravitas to whatever division that he's in. And even that promo that he cut where he said, I want a main event as a tag team, I thought that was pretty ill. I thought that was pretty ill because I when he said it, I was like, yeah, you know what? You probably haven't seen something like that since the 80s.
Right.
What I'm saying? Like, you probably haven't seen something like that since the 80s. And that automatically makes me invested in a tag team division that I probably shouldn't be invested in. So I don't think it's bad at all.
No, definitely. I agree with Jeff there. It's not a demotion. I think I might have touched on this a little bit last week. But I think that with Bryan, you can pretty much put him anywhere. I think that you also want to worry about Bryan's wear and tear. This man has been off for a whole 30 to 40 days already. And so you definitely want to preserve him in tag matches. And you also know that he can go. And again, the SmackDown division needs faces in that tag team division. Like, that is one of the worst tag divisions I've seen in quite some time. And I think they're not a thrown together tag team. I think that they work really well together. I think Rowan's put his working boots on, and I think this is going to be a pretty solid team. I think they're going to have the titles for quite some time. As far as who I think is going to win, I think they're going to retain here. I think the Usos. I see some Vikings in their future.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm probably going to go Daniel Bryan and Rowan retaining. What about you, Jeff? Same.
No reason for them to lose. Because if they lose it, then that wild card is going to be like that Raw 30 and Uno that they got now. So everything's going to be fucking wild.
Oh my God.
Next match. My man, Tony Nese, the Cruiserweight Champion versus Arya Daivari for the Cruiserweight Championship. Of course, I have not watched 205 Live.
I'll be honest, I'm sure they're great athletes, but I have not.
I haven't.
I'm sure they're amazing. I'm sure it was Arya. You know what? I've said this about 205 Live. Everybody gets a turn. Gets a turn at the championship, and now it's Arya Daivari's turn. I haven't seen him contend for a championship ever, but he will be at Money in the Bank. And yeah, I don't know. I don't have much to say about this match.
I'm shocked it isn't on the kickoff show, but I'm guessing that I don't know if there's going to be a through line story with the Usos or Daniel Bryan going throughout the show, but it's quite odd this will actually be on the main show. I expect them to make this the second show on the kickoff show. It'll be solid. Cruiserweight champions and the WWE pretty much get a pretty long run, so I don't see Tony Nese losing it here. I think he's going to put on a pretty good match, as he does at all times in 205 Live. I think he's going to win.
Yeah, I'm probably going to give this to the pride of Long Island right now with Tony Nese.
Yeah, I don't think I'd bet against Nese right now. Is this his second defense or is this his first?
It's like his third. I think he went against Murphy a couple weeks ago.
He gave a rematch, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he ain't losing it.
Yeah. Next match on the show, Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio for the WWE United States Championship. Obviously, these two had a match at WrestleMania where, but Rey's ankle, I believe, was hurt, and it had to be cut down to like a 1 minute match. They've been doing a lot of actually underrated storytelling with this angle with Rey's son Dominic. He hasn't been as physical as I would have liked with the son angle yet, but maybe we can see that here. What do you guys think about this match?
I think it was just I'm a fan of the program of the match thus far, but I definitely want to see. I mean, if Dominic is training to become a professional wrestler, there's no better time to get him physical than in this sort of feud, because Samoa Joe is someone who will who strikes fear. Yeah. If there's any point to make Samoa Joe to kind of flip the switch, and he's already a monster, but kind of flip the switch in sort of a way that's like beyond, that just takes him to a new level. It's this entire feud. I think, we've had the matches here and there and all the things of the sort, but I'm looking forward just because I feel like we haven't really seen this match, and it's just intriguing in that sort of fact. Like, yeah, both of them are in sort of the latter parts of their career, but I feel like just we haven't seen this match, and I'm looking forward to kind of what goes on here.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I don't know why, but there's a part of me that thinks that Dominic is going to go heel and destroy Rey. I don't know why, but I feel like that would be hilarious. First of all, this kid has gotten big. I feel old. What is like? He's a grown ass man.
Listen, he's a grown. He's a hype beast like his dad. Right? He is sort of everything right now. He's grown, but yes, he's
I think inherently we always want that type of swerve because we always used to get it in WCW and WWE
and
ECW. So it's like I would love for Samoa Joe to be Raven and for Dominic to be Tommy Dreamer's son in this situation. Like, I think that would be really dope.
But also Dominic's a grown ass man. So.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah, it's a little different. But if I had to pick a winner for this match, gosh, you know what? I'm gonna go completely different. I'm gonna say Rey Mysterio. I'm gonna say Rey Mysterio takes the belt.
I'll say Samoa Joe retains here. It's his first singles championship. I think they'll have him hold it for a while because I mean, even after Rey wins this, like who's next for him?
I mean, there's a whole bunch of people on Raw that's not being used right now. Yeah.
I forgot that they were both on Raw.
Yeah.
This is one of the rare matches where they're both on the same show. Yes.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go with Samoa Joe also just because I think there's more that you can do with him as champion than Rey. Of course, that can all get torpedoed out the window. But if you ask me, I think it's Samoa Joe.
Right. Next match. Can't believe this is happening on a show that people will probably pay for in the United States or in Europe. Roman Reigns versus Elias in the most regular ass TV match.
I mean, I feel like we've definitely seen this I feel like in some sort of iteration we've seen this on TV, but yes, I mean, to me, what this is sort of notable for is this is probably Elias's biggest match thus far. I mean, since probably like John Cena or something. But in terms of the stakes of people on the main roster and, the eyes on Roman Reigns and Elias is just kind of a heel. This is kind of his most high profile match that we've seen to date. Now, they've done a great job kind of aligning him with Shane McMahon over the last couple of weeks. And I think this is in turn playing a role in terms of the upcoming Roman Reigns versus Shane McMahon feud, which I'm looking forward to because I know, Shane McMahon will absolutely, do some crazy shit. But Elias versus Roman Reigns, I mean, I can't see how the crowd is going to go up for this match, especially considering there's 2 ladder matches in the show.
Right.
This to me screams cool off match. I think it might be in between one of the matches or even right before the main event of the show. Again, I actually don't think this match is going to have a finish. But I mean, usually Roman does have a finish, but I want to go wild. I really want to go wild in this prediction. I want to say Elias is going to win.
I want to go
Roman has not been defeated on the singles match for over 300 days.
That's what they say. That is what they say. And you know what? I don't think that tonight will be the night, to be honest. I mean, yes, forget the fact that also Roman Reigns was not wrestling on television for a majority of those 300 days. But yeah, I mean, I don't think tonight's the night. I mean, I think you go with Elias and you somehow, you set up for that sort of Shane McMahon feud. But then again, I could see Elias winning too. Shoot. If this was the Attitude Era, I'd say Elias wins. But considering we're in the era that we're in now, I'm going to go with Roman.
All right.
Yeah, if they didn't allow McIntyre to beat Roman at WrestleMania before he went to Raw, I don't understand why he would lose to Elias now, unless it's to set up Shane.
Right.
Like Shane, before Shane disintegrates off of the steel cage, if he goes and interferes in the match or something like that. But I think the safe pick is Roman. I could see, to your point, Justin, I do see like cool off match where maybe to kill time, Elias is doing his set and then Roman comes out and just to give them whatever time they need to prepare. So I think that's really what it's going to be.
All right. Next matchup. The Miz, ironically, versus Shane McMahon in a steel cage match. This has been a very long storyline. I think it's the longest running storyline that doesn't have anything to do with Baron Corbin and the company right now.
Yeah, pretty much.
They the steel cage match is historically a blow off match, and I think that since both of them are on different shows now, well, I mean, I can't even really say that they're on different shows. They could literally show up whenever they want to on each other's shows. But let's just work with the idea that this is going to be a blow off match. I actually have an interesting thought about this match. You guys want to hear it?
I mean, yeah, by all means. Just before you say that interesting thought, I'm trying to think the last time that WWE promoted a steel cage match that I was like, oh my God, yes, definitive. This is the end here. Because I don't know, we get Hell in a Cell later in the year, things like that. I'm trying to figure out the last like steel cage match. That was
Bray and Bryan.
Bray and Bryan. Oh yeah, that was a good. Was that a steel cage match? It was the Bray and Bryan versus the Usos deal, right?
Are you telling him?
No, was it the one where he was in the Wyatt family?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So I would say that one, and that's very far and few between. I like the concept of sort of steel cage matches. I don't think they get enough of a. I would like to see this stipulation a lot more on Raws and SmackDowns as opposed to pay-per-views, just because I think Hell in a Cell sticks on pay-per-views, and it kind of becomes this very like monstrous thing where they do all the promotion for it. And in terms of just kind of blowing off the feud on Monday nights, and given that big attraction match that we don't usually get on Monday nights or Tuesday nights, like we don't get that, like we'll never get a ladder match anymore on SmackDown or Raw. At least I don't think so. But I think a steel cage match is very much so plausible. But this feud has been going on for months, and this feud has been really just something that's kind of it's helped establish The Miz as a great face, which is something that like who would have ever thunk it? And then Shane McMahon as well, kind of just like easing him and getting him a lot more comfortable in this heel character role that I always thought people may like fight against, because people do love Shane McMahon and he does a lot of crazy shit. But I mean, it's working for both sides. I think this feud is probably one of the things that has worked out very well for both competitors.
Yeah. I think that, well, first off, I think Shane will win this match. But I think Bray Wyatt's going to return for this match to face Miz.
Ooh.
I think that's the story. I think that's his first program is Miz.
Ooh. I mean, that's fine. You know what? I'll tell you this. Every Bray Wyatt feud has never started with like, I'm tougher than you. Like every Bray Wyatt feud starts with him ambushing someone in the ring, and that's who I'm targeting now.
Think of it like Miz loses, or even if he wins, and then he gets a box, and in the box is the buzzer in the box, and it opens, and then Bray shows up.
Okay. All right. I see a little J5 booking over here. Okay. What do you think of this entire program, Jeff?
I like it. I think it's a throwback to the old school feuds, where feuds weren't a month. Feuds like you would feud for up until the next major pay-per-view, or like ECW, Like Taz and Sabu, they feuded for a whole year and didn't touch each other until that major match. I like it. I think it's cool. I would say if there was no wild card, or that the fact that Shane, because he's a McMahon, can be wherever he wanted. If this was like the final match and then they go to their brands, it would be much easier for me to predict. But now you bringing in all this Bray shit in my head. I'm like, damn, he really could.
That'd be hard. It would be hard.
I don't think a loss hurts either of them.
No.
So, I mean, fuck it. All right, Miz. Fuck it. I'll take Miz. I'll take Miz. I can still see the Bray thing happening after a Miz win.
Yeah,
if that does happen. But I'll say I feel like Shane is always good about letting whoever get their comeuppance on him. So maybe this happens with the Miz. I wouldn't be shocked if Shane wins.
I'll definitely say Elias. If Elias will win, if Shane McMahon loses.
I think that. Well, no, I think it even gives more credence of Miz winning if Elias loses that match, because he won't be able to come out and help.
Right. I'm gonna go with. They might all end up being like matches independent of each other anyway, because Lord knows how this company works. I'm going to go with, and this is hard because you know me, I'm Ms. Mark. I'm Ms. Hive. # Ms. Hive. But Shane McMahon, it's just something about this that just kind of feels like it's got his fingerprints for a win over it. And while it would be like a nice little 50-50 thing, I think this feud is over and they don't want to go the 50-50 route. So I'm going to unwillingly pick Shane McMahon for this win.
People are going to be so mad, but yeah.
Yes, it's going to be, yeah.
These next two matches, let's kind of put them together and kind of put our heads together as to where these matches will land on the card, because I think, and I've been saying this for the past couple of weeks, Becky's storyline is the story of this pay-per-view, I think. I think people want to see where these belts are going to end up and who is going to get these belts. And I think there are way more variables for the women's championship than there are either of the men's. So Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch versus Lacey Evans. I guess we just start off with just the three of us. Like, who do we think are going to win these respective matches and how? Like, I think it's very interesting that they're going to have a Becky and Charlotte match. I in my heart of hearts, I do not believe this match is going to be a one-on-one match. And if it is, I think something is going to happen there. But Becky Lynch and Lacey Evans is something that I also could happen there as well.
Are you a fan of Lacey Evans? I'm still on the fence about Lacey Evans in terms of just like, I've been critical in terms of just like, I don't feel like she's kind of ready to be where she's currently at. Not that she's on the top, but a sense of just like, I don't know if they gave her too much too soon, because there's a lot we haven't really seen from her.
Definitely shotgunned her. Like, she just came out of nowhere. I mean, she went from strutting out on every Raw and SmackDown, just doing the catwalk shit, and now she's in a world title match. I like her gimmick. I like the heel Southern. I'm a pure lady and y'all all hoes. Like that, like that Southern respect charm bullshit. But I like that shit. Like, I think it's good. I think that I would hope that she gets better in the ring to match it, because I think there's a lot that you can do with it and match her up with, because she's the middle America view mom.
Right.
Exactly what she is, right? But from the South. And so I think it's cool, but I've been really trying to think what the hell they're gonna do with Becky. Like,
the wild card rule kind of changes everything, you know?
But she is the wild card. She is the wild card because she can go. She's both brands champion. So
right.
She can literally go wherever she wants. But even if she didn't have those both belts, she'd still go wherever she wants.
100%.
Man. So literally, I can't believe she has two belts and I feel like they painted themselves into a corner by having her defend against two different people. I think it's ill, but at the same time, it's like, if it wasn't Lacey Evans and if it was somebody who, even fucking Beth Phoenix or somebody like that has that cachet, that championship pedigree, then I'm like, oh, this could go either way.
Right.
I feel like they do want it split again eventually.
Yeah.
One champion per each. I don't think that they want both women's titles to be like all on one person. So do you really give that to Lacey Evans? And does Charlotte get another reign?
Well,
No.
so you know what? I'll say yes, because it seems like, for instance, Charlotte's gimmick, and it seemed to be chasing sort of the Ric Flair thing. Charlotte is already the most decorated women's champion of all time. She just is. She has 8 women's championships, which is the most out of anybody. 9 to me. You know she's going to get the ninth eventually. In terms of just like looking at stakes for both of this match, I can't see them giving it to Lacey Evans. It would be an extreme swerve of swerves if Lacey Evans ends up the women's champion. Not to say that it can't happen, but I think it would be the swerve of swerves, and I think it actually would be detrimental to the division for the women's Monday Night Raw division. I think SmackDown, the Charlotte Flair one, I could easily see them giving it back to Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, I could too, but or it could be someone that we'll talk about in a few. If we're gonna talk about it like that, in that sense, I think Becky's gonna win both matches. How about that? Before we even talk about the actual ladder matches, I think she'll win one, quote unquote, win one of them and win the other one. Fair.
Right. So same night cash in on one of the belts.
Yes, she'll quote win right now.
I mean,
or quote lose, but I don't think she'll be too upset about one of those belts being lost.
I mean, if she gets cashed in on, it still presents the opportunity, because Becky's scrappy. Her entire thing.
I don't think it'll be. I don't think that the person I think is going to do it is going to do it in a normal cash-in way.
Okay, you got long-term plans. All right, you know what? Let's get through these other 2 matches, and then we get through the Money in the Bank ladder matches. How about that?
Next up, Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles in a match that, again, I don't understand why a lot of people aren't like fucking with right now.
It feels, you know what? Both these and I don't mean to like group them both together, but both of them kind of seem like, especially on the Money in the Bank card, where the attraction is the Money in the Bank ladder match, and then you have Becky Lynch having these 2 matches. These kind of matches, they kind of seem like, you know, the middle of the card, and which is great for the women, quite honestly. I mean, it's great for the women to be, you know, kind of presented in a way that's like the main event, but both of these kind of seem like middle of the road, middle of the card kind of matches. I mean, first things first, that Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles match, I think just in general, they've done what they can. To me, it kind of feels like I'd probably compare this a lot to the Russell Westbrook and Dame Lillard type of deal, where it's not necessarily, I mean, those two hate each other, yes, but it's kind of this also like aggression that's like presented on the stakes of I'm the best. I'm the best. I'm better than you, and I can prove that I'm better than you. And there's this actual aggression, and they've actually taken it out on each other, similar to the Westbrook and Dame Lillard type of deal. But I just think, you know, I think
it's gonna be a good match. I think it's gonna be a really
match. I think this is the first of many matches that they're going to have, is what I'm going to say.
I think Seth retains here.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think I'm going to say yes, Seth retains.
I do not think he will continue to retain against AJ. I think AJ. I think Vince loves him some AJ Styles. I think AJ Styles will be the Universal Champion by SummerSlam.
Quick question: How do you guys feel about AJ Styles right now? Do you guys feel like his sort of the way he's been? It's a little, I don't want to say stale, because that seems kind of harsh, but like we've seen this kind of thing for the last 2 years, and it feels like it's time for something different. And we've been talking about, you know, just on this card, could it present an AJ Styles full heel turn, which I would be in favor of. Do you guys think that'll happen, or do you guys think, you know, or is it just sort of the straight up match type of deal?
I think it's time for him to turn heel. I think that AJ as a heel on Raw and AJ as a face on SmackDown is such a great character. Like, it's such a great character switch. Like, I think that it's like he tunes himself into to fit into the Raw world as a heel there. And I think with the club there now, I think you just get that popping again. In all honesty.
Yeah, like when you said, is it time for like a new thing for AJ? I think it's time for an old thing for AJ, and just just do it.
Yeah,
like, do it. And it's just, it's funny how they're keeping Finn and AJ off the same brand, like which they keep flip flopping them, and I'm like, guys, just do it.
Right.
Well, they did it. I mean, they did it once.
They did it once by accident.
For real. Not with no triple and no DX and no NWO. Like, put the club. You went through all that trouble to get them. Just do a run.
That might be, quite honestly, the most like money feud that they kind of had that they haven't done yet.
Is the club versus the Shield?
Do it. They could do it with Finn too. Now with the wild card, if we're gonna get wild, let's get wild. You always have your faction with you, and you can find a way to get the wild card. Like, imagine if they're like a disruptive faction, but they're paid by the McMahons under the table to get titles off of people and to represent. They can always get the wild card, or they just say, "Fuck the wild card. We're gonna show up wherever we want." It's chaos. It's Raw versus SmackDown 12 months a year.
Right.
So why not just make them all the club and just have it like that? I mean, I don't know what you want to do with Finn, but like, fuck it. Let's get wild.
I'm ready for Finn versus AJ. That's what I was talking about. I'm ready for the sort of seeds and the club is trying to, before Gallows and Anderson peace out, them try to figure out, like, yo, what do we do? Like, where do we go? Like, how do we do this? I think that's the money. I think that's something that they have in their back pocket that they haven't even bothered to touch or even hint at yet.
Well, the Demon already beat AJ, so fuck it.
Oh, well, all right, well.
You feel me?
Yeah, let's talk about the main event. Well, one of the, I guess the WWE Championship match. I don't even know if it'd be the main event.
No, I wouldn't. I think the women will. I think Charlotte Becky's a bigger match than anything on here.
Yeah.
WWE Championship match: Kofi Kingston versus Kevin Owens. A feud that I think it's way too early. It was way too early to turn Kevin here, but I understand why they did it. I think Kofi obviously is going to get quite a run with this title for a while. I think it's a no-brainer. I think that Kofi will win this match. Yeah, I mean, he's looked very strong in this whole feud.
Man, I'm gonna listen. You can't go to Ghana without the belt. You know what I'm saying?
Feel me?
Can't announce the doc and be like, yo, is he gonna win? Yes.
I guess we're sending Kevin. But
no.
Oh my God. Listen, I mean, Kofi Kingston. I think just in the first couple of weeks this feud, everyone had their like, yo, is he going to be strong? But yes, they've done their part in sort of establishing Kofi as like, listen, he is a champion who's ready to fight.
Well, he's the top babyface on SmackDown, so I think that's it right there. And
they've done a good part of like they've had there's only one New Day partner left, but they keep kind of like taking him out. So it'll be interesting to see if this ends up a one-on-one match. It'll be interesting just to see how this goes down. I think Kevin Owens also agrees it was too early to turn him.
Yeah.
I actually wish he would have been the Big O for longer.
Yeah.
Really establish himself as the fourth New Day member. Like, it's certain people that just do it. Like, I still pop when I see Kurt Angle when he walks up as a member of the Shield, and he's just so fucking happy to be. He's cosplaying, right. And he's so happy. And it's like you have Kurt Angle in the Shield just suplexing people with hot tags. Like, it's just ill. And I think Kevin Owens has so much charisma and comedic timing that this shit could have been like big.
Yeah, and they could have built it with Big E coming back and have him turn that way. You know, like, right. I just think it was way too early. I think you could have done Kofi Nakamura here I think that would have been a really good match as well to have here and give them some time. Definitely. I mean, you could have did Kofi Rusev. Like it could have been really anyone in this slot. I don't think that you mortgage Kevin Owens heel turn not meaning much in the big scheme of thing for this, but I think that Kofi will definitely win this match. Let's wrap this up with the last two Money in the Bank matches. First up with the men's Money in the Bank, you have Sami Zayn, who replaced Braun Strowman this Monday on Raw, versus Ricochet, versus Drew McIntyre, versus Baron Corbin, versus Ali, versus Finn Balor, versus Andrade, versus Randy Orton. I think on paper now with Sami Zayn in it, it's definitely one of the strongest Money in the Bank ladder matches that we've had in some time. I think Drew McIntyre is going to do his thing. Baron Corbin's going to be Baron Corbin. But Ali, Finn Balor, Andrade, they're gonna go so stupid, especially Ricochet. I think Ricochet is going to try and really. I'd say like lately to me, Ricochet's kind of floundered so far on the main roster by himself with no Alistair. But I do think this is a chance to turn that all around for him.
I think. So I'm looking at this, and I want to ask both of you guys this question. I mean, there's a couple former world champions here, but anybody here, do you see like, all right, in the next year, because this is kind of what Money in the Bank is about, right? Yeah. It's about saying over the next year, who are we going to put the belt on? Who are we going to put the strap on? And how are we going to go far? I mean, how are we going to go with this? Is there anyone here who you confidently could see like, okay, they're the next WWE champion or they're the next world champion?
Andrade.
What about you, Jeff?
Confidently, that was a big word. Put in front of it. I feel like at some point Finn's got to get another run. I feel like at some point Finn's got to get another run. I don't know if they do it, but I maybe on SmackDown. But it's something about Drew McIntyre, man. I really enjoy what he's done since he's come back. I believe him. Mm-hmm. Every time he speaks, I feel him. Like his frustration, his anger. I was like, I ain't gonna lie, son kind of has a point. He kind of has a point when he be dropping his facts. And I just feel like if you want something fresh, if you want something new, and if you want the Universal title reigns to be like those type of guys, why not him? Why not?
I feel like definitely if you want to strike the fear of God and whoever your WWE or Universal champion is, it's the fact that Drew McIntyre at any moment, he's a weapon in itself. The man is like a cannon himself. If he wants the championship, he's going to take it. Jack can come anytime. Now you look at it on a Raw side and you're like, man, it could be Drew McIntyre. There's also a SmackDown side where it's like, who could be the one to end Kofi Mania and end the dream of Kofi Mania and end everything as we know it about Kofi Mania? And there's part of me that wants to say, even though he's already won it before, and this is a very unpopular pick, just depending on, because this is the year 2019 of our Lord, Randy Orton.
Oh, Lord.
Randy Orton, I think just generally the story of Randy Orton haunting Kofi Kingston for the last 10 years. I mean, where Kofi Kingston started to blow up in 2009, it was Randy Orton who kind of ended it all. And that kind of being the serpent just waiting in the grass, kind of waiting and just being like, listen, I'm going to end it again. You will not walk out. You just know that you're on borrowed time. I think that's crazy for Randy. Plus, it gives him something. He's literally not really doing anything. And I think he could just be waiting. And I think Drew McIntyre can become WWE champion. I mean, Universal champion at any point, or he could do it without the strap. I mean, without the briefcase. But I don't know. I just feel like Randy Orton. I don't know. It's just me. It's literally just me. I know it's just me.
You're smoking dope.
Oh, God.
You're smoking dope. There's no way that's happening. We've called Drew winning this match months ago.
I mean, because it looks great on paper that Drew McIntyre win this match. But then I always feel like because we all expect certain people to win, that they decide to go left. Like if you look at the history of Money in the Bank, most times it's not who you expect.
Right.
Most times it's not the most obvious answer because I'm sure they're in their mind is like, listen, we want to make him WWE champion. I just put the belt on him. Like, it don't really matter. But for sort of these long story turns, like just the history of it, I don't know. It's never the obvious answer. That's kind of why I'm going with Randy Orton.
I mean, I think there's gonna be a lot of run-ins.
Yeah,
maybe. I think Braun is going to take out Sammy. Keep it a hundo. I think Alistair's going to show up here too.
He's been hinting at something.
Yeah,
he's been sitting in that seat for way too long.
Yeah, I think Alistair. I think Alistair Finn would be where I'd go here as well.
All right. I mean,
I think I say Finn's on the ladder. Alistair shows up, fucks it all up for him, and then that's your program in the summer.
Well, I mean, let's switch to the women, because apparently you have plans for this women's championship, and you have plans with this Money in the Bank ladders match.
Yeah.
Talk about it. Kind of, let us know what is on your brain, what is on your mind.
So, and I've been saying this for a while. Okay, so the women's Money in the Bank is Natalya, Dana Brooke, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Bayley, Mandy Rose, Ember Moon, and Carmella. I've been saying this for a while. Bayley isn't taking those L's for no reason. Usually in the Money in the Bank, they have people take L's to make them seem like the least likely candidate to win the Money in the Bank championship, right?
Right.
Bayley has been beaten by Charlotte and Becky. Why would you not have Bayley win at the beginning of the show? Then in the end of the show, which with Becky and Charlotte, Becky has already beaten Lacey Evans. Bayley shows up and says, let's make this a triple threat match. Becky's a fighting champion. Boom, triple threat match. Have Bayley win the title. Becky would not be upset at that because obviously it's been set up within the past couple of months that she does not have a problem with Bayley herself. That's what I think is going to happen here.
I think they would boo Bayley out the building.
I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to, especially if she pins Charlotte. I don't think they'll even have Becky take the pin there.
I mean, you would have
Charlotte. If she pins Charlotte, no one will be mad at that.
I mean, Becky would still have the Raw belt.
Exactly.
But to do the exclamation point on things and just be like, Bayley is the one who steals it all. I think it's a great idea. Don't get me wrong. It's much better than the Dana Brooke, fantasy that everyone's trying to make happen. Like Dana Brooke is like fetch. It's not going to happen. But the Bayley thing, I could definitely see. I mean, it's the most intriguing out of it all because you look at sort of the landscape and you see Natalya, you don't really want to go with Natalya. Dana Brooke, nah. Naomi, I would love it to be Naomi, but it doesn't look like the time right now. Alexa Bliss, we've done it before. Carmella, we've done it before. Now, Ember Moon and Mandy Rose would be interesting if they decided to go that route.
No.
But I don't think, I mean, I could see Mandy Rose, but I'm not going to call Mandy Rose. Bayley's the most intriguing out of all of this.
What do you think, Jeff?
Yeah, I was just about to say when you had put that idea earlier, like, I'm stupid because I keep forgetting that the Money in the Bank, like they could cash the same night, right?
Yeah.
So thinking about that, all the horsewomen have held the world titles, and Bayley's held the championship, right? Or no?
The Raw.
Yeah, she's held the Raw one for sure.
Raw one, right? Okay, cool. So in this new era, she hasn't been popping like that in a singles way for a while, for at least for a little bit. And then when I look at everybody else, I just eliminate women who've won it before because it doesn't make sense at this point to have a woman do multiple victories when they've just started this, right? I'm just using that logic. With WWE, that logic can be chucked out the window too. Sure. So Natalya, I don't think she needs it. Dana Brooke, I don't see her getting it. Naomi, not now. Ember Moon, I don't think so. Mandy Rose and Bayley are probably the top two that I could see legitimately holding it and carrying it. But just like we talk about AJ having a heel turn, I'd like to see Bayley as a heel, or at least who doesn't give a fuck about what the fans think. Like she comes out and the tube men come up and she pops them shits. Okay, y'all don't deserve this. Y'all
Right.
don't deserve it or whatever.
I mean, I think it would come from a real place, to be honest with you. I said, I think it would come from a real place, to be honest with you.
No, seriously. So I think it would be the best thing for her to win. Thinking about it now, for her to win, her to cash in, her to beat Becky, and then embrace that hate. Embrace, go full. Like, I don't care. I'm all about me. Like, fuck the 4 horsewomen. There's only one stallion in the race, and it's really.
Oh my God!
Go full heel.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll do that, but
I'm with both of them. I'm with both of them, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like definitely Bayley needs a fresher sort of thing, but I don't know. Just kind of like from the standard of just like look how long it took Kofi Kingston to ever be a heel, because Vince McMahon could never even fathom that this man could do anything dastardly or be considered thing as a heel. But then, I mean, it turned out pretty okay. But I mean, Bayley turning as a heel, I've thought about it. I could not picture it.
She walked with the belt, and
I feel like she had. I don't think she is a cool heel. I think she's just hated. I think she's just hated, which might be even more detrimental to her career. But I do think she's hated. I don't think she comes out in like a leather jacket and, you know, the hair's down and all this other stuff. But I do think she's immensely hated if she goes that route and sort of cashes in on Becky. But to me, if they do the triple threat match, I feel like she's pinning Becky.
Yeah, why not? You gotta get that rub. Like, you can't pin Charlotte. You gotta pin Becky. You have to. Everybody has gotten. Yo, when I saw the Undertaker get cashed in on, I knew this shit was different. Like, nobody is above getting cashed in on.
The Money in the Bank briefcase comes for everybody.
So are we all three saying that Bayley is to us, like the most likely winner of this?
I'm going with Bayley. Yeah,
I'm rolling with it.
Yeah, I think you go predictable here. I think the men's one could go either way. I think that anyone but Baron Corbin will be fine here. I don't think Ricochet is going to get it, but anyone but Baron Corbin's fine there. But the women one, just do the right thing, WWE. Like, just do the predictable thing. It's fine. Don't worry. We'll live.
I mean, yeah.
Have Bayley win and piss Sasha off at home. All right, and that is the Money in the Bank prediction show for the A show this week. I mean, we're going to be watching it with you guys on Sunday night, and we're going to have a rundown on the show next week. But that is also it for the A show. I want to thank Jeff J for showing up to the show again. Jeff, is there anything you want to plug?
Yeah, I just say follow me. Jeff J Says. We talk about a whole lot of stuff. I got a lot of content and stuff coming out. Thank y'all for having me, yo. This has been fun. I love talking the graps with y'all, and very smart, informative show. I hope you get 1 billion more listeners, and they're not all dastardly marks.
All right, and as always, you can check us out at RNC Radio Live. We have so much content. I mean, this dude Meelz just like made a new show out of nowhere, the Mount Silver podcast about Pokemon.
I mean, it is what it is. It's just a new one. It's just something that we just did. It's amazing. If you like it, go support it. If you don't, listen to the many of our other podcasts, which I'm sure you'll support.
Yes, we also have RAOP Gaming with Ampavelli talking about the future of the podcast. Don't worry, it's good. It's going to work out for everybody. But that also got released this week. We also have RSBN, and they're doing their whole playoff show this Friday, and we also have the season finale of The Perfect Play. Once again, it's already been another season of The Perfect Play, but that's going to end with a listener's choice show on Friday as well with Huey. And we also have the call up on Friday with Kahlo, who we love Kahlo. Shout out to Kahlo, man.
Follow him at Air Kahlo on Twitter.
Yes, sir. That's one of our most exciting shows, all about NXT and NXT UK. And we also have Spot Callers, which is coming up this month. I would like to say it's going to come out next week. It's going to be myself, Cyrus, and Meelz talking about Heroes of Wrestling for the 10-year anniversary of one of the most controversial and interesting shows of all time. Now, Jeff, have you ever seen Heroes of Wrestling?
I have not.
It is a interesting show. It's the show where Jake the Snake Roberts goes off the rails.
Oh, again? Oh, sorry. I mean, I didn't mean to say that out loud. I'm sorry.
Oh my God! But we're going to be watching that show on Spot Callers this month. So keep a lookout for that. And as always, for another episode of the A Show, I'm Justin for Meelz. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you so much for the support. Shout out to everyone that listens to this, and we will see you guys next week.
Listen, my champion is black. My champion will stay black, and he going to Ghana. So there we go.